Hello again. Some people have criticized the former President Thabo Mbeki's comments at Jessie Duarte's memorial service last week. Mbeki condemned the President Cyril Ramaphosa for failing to deliver on a social compact within 100 days, as he had promised during the State of the Nation address in February. Mbeki warned of anti-government protests similar to the Arab Spring, but some people believe his remarks were uncalled for. This then begs the question, who's qualified to say what and when? Should former presidents, leaders distance themselves from the current country's state of affairs? Well, let's get some analysis here from David Maimela, who's going to talk to us about his views. He's penned some of them and posted them recently on Facebook. David, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. I guess people might be concerned, this is my view, that some former leaders, like former presidents, might wish to be ruling from the grave. That is why maybe they must just keep quiet. Is that a fair enough assessment?
No, it's not fair. There are actually two rules that we have to sort of observe and respect as a country and as a constitutional democracy. The first one is that the Constitution provides for all South Africans to have a right of a freedom of speech, freedom of conscience, and to say whatever that they want to say. Of course, with the limits that all rights have got particular limitations. So on the one hand, there is the rule that says all of us are entitled to that, and we can exercise it. So it does not matter what kind of social station you have in life, whether you are a public representative or a former representative, former president, etc. We all have the same rights under the Constitution. So that's the first rule that we have to observe. And then there's the second rule, which is like sort of an unwritten convention where most of former leaders, especially prime ministers, presidents, and so on, they prefer not to engage, at least publicly, in terms of their critique and sometimes in terms of their criticism of their successors. And they do this in different ways. I mean, we can take a few examples that we can take, for instance, in the case of Obama and Trump. For the longest time, Obama decided that he's not going to engage the politics of Trump until Biden decided to announce his candidature. At the same time, we've not had a lot of engagement from President Mandela until there was a public policy that actually he was passionate about, in this case, HIV and AIDS. And when he expressed his view, everybody welcomed it. Now you've had former President Mbeki in South Africa, who then spent more than a decade or so saying nothing about domestic politics. And when it comes out to express his view, and even sometimes participate in the National Executive Committee, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah. So from the examples you're giving, it seems to say that this unwritten rule makes them aware that they don't want to be seen to be critical of their successors after they step down in office, but they've got a role to play as in society because it talks to leadership and they've got that wisdom. So how then can this go ahead? Because you mentioned a concept that you write about, which you say is a concept of leadership, distance, deliberative culture, and freedom. Why would that be important in our country today?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's all about a sense of culture and a sense of decency, a sense of just simply saying that, you know, you are giving your successor a chance and an opportunity to have the space to lead, and you provide the necessary support that you can provide. But there is nothing in law and there's nothing in ethics that actually prevents you from engaging as a former leader. So you can engage as robustly as you can, whether you are from the same party or from an opposing party. It can be done, as in the case of Trump and Obama, and as in the case of many other presidents across the world. But
what about the
point
danger?
Is exactly that.
Yeah, sorry, David, to come in there in terms of time. Sorry about that, to cut in there. But what about those who are saying now there's a risk that a comment like Mbeki, where he's questioning where is the 100 days have come and gone, where's the social compact plan? We agree, we have challenges of poverty, inequality and unemployment, but we have no national plan. There's nothing, it doesn't exist. People who say, but that can divide the governing party. It could be divisive. Or how do you respond to that?
Well, as a standard thing, we should accept that historical figures are either controversial, polarizing, or divisive, depending on what they stand or represent, depending on what they stand for or represent. So, so it could be a Mandela, it could be a Kgalema, it could be a Jacob Zuma, a Thabo Mbeki, a Cyril Ramaphosa. The point is that there would always be figures in history that are debated controversially, considered to be controversial, and sometimes not. And it's just part of how history unfolds. And I don't think that we should make a big deal out of it.
Okay.
And they definitely do that. But I'm not saying we should endorse historical figures like Hitler and so on.
Okay, so there's a right to discourse, that you conclude your thoughts, you're talking about the rights to discourse. So whether or not they're in power or not, they also must enjoy the same right to discourse.
Definitely.
Thank you very much. David Maimela, political analyst, just weighing in on views of some people who've been critical of former President Thabo Mbeki's views last week, which were very strong and caused a lot of discussion in the country about how the current government is performing.